Well, this week in the Tribune magazine, what we're doing is we're examining the case of the Irvine 11. Now, that's a story that's definitely not been picked up by our media, and it happened in America, and it hasn't even really been picked up by the mainstream American media for reasons we'll get into in a little while. Basically, the story is there were these 11 students in the University of California. One of the University of California's many campuses, and they're of Muslim extraction. They're Muslim Americans, they're American citizens. And the Israeli ambassador to the United States, Michael Oren, was scheduled to speak at the University of California. So what these guys did, in what is a very long-standing established tradition of student protest, is that they heckled his speech. Okay, they stood up and they said things like, "You're responsible for genocide," and then they were escorted out of the auditorium. Now, up until now, that's all very well and good, but what happened then was sort of unprecedented. They were arrested, they were taken to the local police station. Charges were brought against them for having violated the Israeli ambassador's freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And then the case went on, and they were threatened with expulsion by the university, and finally they ended up being convicted, charged and convicted. Now, there is a long-standing tradition in America of student dissent, and it has been historically a progressive force for change. We saw it during the civil rights movement when students stood up protesting in favor of civil rights, equal rights for the African American community. We saw that in the Vietnam War when students were at the forefront of change. We're seeing it now even in Occupy Wall Street to some extent. And there have been many cases. There was an AIDS activist. He heckled Obama, the United States president. No charges were pressed against him. Some activists, female activists, heckled Dick Cheney, the former vice president of the United States. No charges were pressed. The list goes on and on and on. But this time, because A, they were Muslim, and B, they dared to commit the cardinal sin of speaking up against Israel, which of course in America and in the American media is an absolute no-go area. They were actually arrested, they were actually treated like criminals, and they were finally convicted, which is ridiculous.